Hey YouTubers, just on a completely different job here. Whilst I was fixing up the washer bottle, which you'll see in another video of mine, I was having a look around under the engine and all of this was completely covered in oil. You might see that in the previous video. So everything, the steering rack, the dry boot gaiter, all the oil filter, the engine and all the sump, and you might see some of it still back there going down under the chassis rail, oil everywhere. And I was a bit concerned about that, thought I wonder what's causing that oil leak. So I had a look down the top of the engine, at the back, just took as many pictures as I could, and eventually I tracked it down just to this oil pressure switch, and it just goes into that casting there. Just see if I can get you a better view of that from the other side. And whilst it's got a sealant on it, it strangely was leaking. So I'll just try and get a torch on there as well so you can see that. So from this side, and I might put another picture in, it was just leaking down the block there, just underneath. You might see just that little bit of orange oil there just underneath. There you go, you can just see the fresh oil leak. So I started the engine up and I could actually see that dripping down. So I'm just going to whip that out, and what's confusing, I've just loosened it off with, and I only have an adjustable spanner here, so I don't know what the size is. I think it's 28, give or take. I've taken off the connector, 3-pin connector there. Let's get that out and have a look. So you can see they've got the sealant on there. The sealant doesn't seem to be working. So I'm going to have a look around and see what else I've got, maybe some silicone or maybe some PTFE tape, and I'm going to put that on there, crank that in a little bit harder and see if we can't get that to seal, because that was making a real mess all around the end of the engine. So the moral of that so far is all oil leaks aren't as bad as you think, but I'll see if I can get it back in and see if we can stop that leak. Okay, so as we can see, I put a bit of PTFE tape on it and I think that's done the trick. So if you too have a leak on your X-Trail running down all over your suspension, just have a look and see if your oil sensor isn't playing up. And just note, I did try that unplugged and plugged in, and once I did plug it back in, then it was fine and I had no error codes, so I was a bit concerned about that. But anyway, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.